Hello and welcome back to the channel. So the big news over the last couple of days is that Thomas Tuchel has been sacked as Chelsea manager, and the big favourite and one of the most exciting managers in the Premier League, Graham Potter, has been announced as his replacement. So in this video we're going to be looking at whether this is the right decision for both parties and what Graham Potter can bring to the Chelsea team. So what do we know about Graham Potter? Well, his first managerial appointment was for Swedish side Östersund in December 2010. In this time he led them to successive promotions in 2011 and 2012, and then in October 2015 he took the club into the top flight for the first time in their history. Once Potter's side had won the Swedish Cup and earned a place in the Europa League, they won 3 qualifiers and finished second in their group, which set up a showdown against Arsenal in the last 32. After a 3-0 home defeat, Östersund won the second leg at the Emirates 2-1, however failed to get through to the next round on aggregate. In June 2018, Potter returned to the UK to take charge of Swansea City, who had just been relegated from the Premier League at that time. He led them to a 10th place finish in the Championship, while also reaching the quarter-finals of the FA Cup, where his side would lose 3-2 to the eventual winners Manchester City. That was the only season Potter had with Swansea, and then he later joined Brighton at the start of the summer in 2019 on a 4-year deal. In his first year at the club, he guided the Seagulls to a 15th place finish, before also guiding them to a 16th, and then last year a 9th place finish for the South Coast club. So what do we know about the way he plays? Well, he rotates between a 3-5-2 and a 4-4-2, usually operating heavily using fullbacks/wingbacks dependent on the formation being used at the time. His record in the Premier League is 120 games played, 34 wins, 44 draws, 42 losses, with 133 goals scored and 149 goals conceded. But how will Graham Potter's style work with the players that he will have at Chelsea? Well, he favours an attacking tactical style, but also manages to get defensive ability out of the players when he needs it. At Brighton, Potter uses attacking-minded wingbacks such as Solly March to get the pitch and make it wider, while also providing attacking threat by going forward and going up the pitch. He prefers the wing-backs to be inverted, such as a right-footed player on the left and a left-footed player on the right, and that encourages diagonal passes being made to then again spread the pitch and to force opponents to defend wide, while also then being able to provide underlaps through the middle. While in possession, ball-playing centre-halves are encouraged to step up to limit the space that the opposition have to attack and to play their game around the opposition's press. What is quite clear under Graham Potter is that there is this insistence on playing passing triangles to make the opposition work to get the ball back and then to leave gaps which Brighton can then exploit. So this works for Chelsea as they have the players that already play with a 3 at the back system and can play in a way in which they are switched on defensively. However, the problem has been getting the goals from the forward areas, which is something I think Chelsea have identified with Graham Potter as being something that he can do to progress the club. Funnily enough, last season, Brighton were known as the team that couldn't quite hit their XG. However, this season it's been very, very different, looking at the scorelines and looking at the results that they've recorded in the first few games of the season, most notably a 5-2 victory over Leicester City last weekend. What will be interesting is to see how many players do not have a guaranteed spot when a new manager comes in, as we know that it takes time for players to adjust to a new style, and it'll be interesting to see how Chelsea players go from this sole focus on being a defensive strong outfit, which hasn't quite worked out this season so far, to a team that have this flexibility and adaptability to go and play a more attacking game, arguably with more risk of course, but also one that can get them a lot of good results should it work, and under Graham Potter I can see it doing so. Of course, I've said this is good for Chelsea, but is this good for Graham Potter? That's something I'm not too sure about, because we've seen in the past that managers that do well at Chelsea still do get sacked. Do you want that hanging over you as a manager? I don't think so. Knowing that one poor run of form could be the end of your career with this new club, because the owners seem to be incredibly trigger happy with making decisions based on a few games, as we've seen with Thomas Tuchel, a manager who won the club the Champions League, Super Cup and Club World Cup, still got sacked after being backed with £200 million worth of investment and really wasn't given the time to see if he could integrate that into the side. But of course that chapter is over, and now Chelsea fans will be hoping that the Graham Potter era is one that's much more positive moving forward. What do you think? Do you think Graham Potter is making the right decision in leaving, or do you think that maybe he should have stayed with Brighton? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to see your thoughts. As always, remember to hit the big red button if you are new, it really does mean a lot, and to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and we'll catch you next time.